this is Frostbite. It's a danger zone map, and I'm gonna need to roll out the fucking red carpet for about 30,000 different individuals. I think the population of Britain or Germany worked on this map together. So give me a sec so that I can make sure that I get everybody correctly here. I'm not really sure how to even... Oh, here we go. I like how you can't even filter the workshop through danger zone maps. They didn't add that functionality, I guess.
Yeah.
So I can't even filter for just maps. So when I search for Frostbite, there's just a million. Here we go. There's just a million weapons. Okay, so this is a map by Seth, Scratch Post, T-Rexer, Slimac, Clicks, Chief, Squidsky, Squink, Hasselhoff, and Quoting. And that's just the ones that I could find on the workshop. Who knows who else contributed to this. So it's a big map because it's a danger zone map. And now I've got a tablet, even though it doesn't allow me to do anything. So. Now you have a tablet. You can't even select it.
No, I can't.
But now we have
How
tablets.
did you drop it?
I used the give command, weapon tablet.
Thanks for the tablet.
You're welcome. It's my gift to you. I mean, it's a celebration for being a Valve official mapper now.
I guess. I appreciate it.
Yeah. This is, so yeah, joining me is poLemin. Of course, he's been on the stream before, but he was on the stream as just another guy who just made some maps, you know, but now he's on the stream as an expert, a mapping god, pretty much infallible, and everything that he says about mapping is now 100% accurate and true, so.
Very true.
Yeah, so that's how things are now. So I hope you guys are enjoying that one. So yeah. Now you've already looked at this map, right?
Yes.
Did you have a particular place in mind to start? I guess I should mention my history with Danger Zone briefly, because I've actually played a ton of Danger Zone, but I played mostly before they forced duos, where you could still queue as like 1, 2, or 3. I think you can still queue solo, but I haven't done it in a while. But I played mostly before the respawn stuff was added in, so I have still played since then, but it's been a little bit less often because obviously there's a huge bias towards 2-player, and I was mostly a solo guy, so it's pretty interesting stuff. I think the game mode has a lot of potential, but of course we gotta wait for some more time before it really gets realized. So I'm a fan. I've played more than your average player probably has, and I don't know if you have a particular history with Danger Zone.
My history is actually pretty similar. I also played a bunch when it came out.
Yeah.
Where you could play solo, you could play trier actually.
Yeah.
And now it's like 2-player exclusively. I don't enjoy it as much anymore, but still like to check out the maps.
I do wonder if there's going to be a shift in map design for any updates that come out to those maps, where now that it is like they've figured out a formula that they want to stick to, Valve that is, where they can do stuff like essentially have a decent number of changes to the formula such that you have access to like, oh, I know there's going to be 2 people on a team, and I can like build my maps around that.
Yeah.
Whereas before you had to balance like loot distribution and stuff, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to see because there were some issues using the Danger Zone game mode. But I mean, actually, we might be able to do that, but I don't want to risk it now. Now, not that we've actually started. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of potential value that comes out of the idea of essentially balancing loot distribution and even the architecture of areas around the idea that you're going to have 2 people for sure. So that's actually an advantage that this map and other maps that come after it will have in terms of like one more tool that the developers of those maps can use, basically.
Yeah.
So. The other issue with trying to analyze a danger zone map is obviously that we're not really sure where to begin on the map. So, like, you know, some people would say maybe you should go to the middle and fan out from there. But because it's not the same thing as like a wingman map or a regular map or whatever, it's like there's not really a linear progression. It's very much open-ended, right? So I don't know if there's a particular area you want to start. We can just like hit our favorites. But the format for this, I think, should probably be that we take a look at a bunch of like individual areas. We look at them sort of in a vacuum almost, and then after we've done enough of that, we can sort of talk about how we're feeling like the map flows together and is pieced together over time. So,
yeah, generally, I would also suggest that we like focus on the main themes first, like the main areas.
Yeah, like what sets them apart from the rest of
example.
them, you mean?
Exactly. Like a lot of them are fairly unique in their architecture and their setup or layout. And then there's a lot of buffer areas between the different themes, which, like the one we're in right now, it's not really identifiable as a specific location, but it's just, it has a building and it serves gameplay purpose in separating the points of interest, basically.
Yeah, so the other thing too is that there's a pretty solid like argument to be made for, you know, you want to make sure that all of your ideas or all of your areas are distinct from one another so that you can essentially instantly recognize where you are on the map. I mean, this is something that you always want even in smaller scale map, like a diffuse map or a wingman map. You want to make sure that everything is easily recognizable so people don't get lost, basically. That's probably something that's a little bit harder to do when you've gone for a snow theme, because by definition, snow like covers a lot of stuff up, and it can make things pretty difficult. But one of the things that I really like what they did over here is the ice river area.
I think that's a good place to start, actually.
Yeah, because there's like a clock tower which is very distinct from all of the barnyard areas and stuff, or whatever I call them barnyard because they're red. That's pretty much the only reason. But what's up, Whaleman? Despite the fact that every area of this map doesn't have snowmen rocking different attire is disappointing. That could be a way to really tie the theme together, I agree. If you had a bunch of snowmen in each individual area as like that region's mascot. And so like this one could be a distinguished British snowman because you've got the clock tower, which is a British thing, even though it's not really, but that makes me think of British people. So you could do that. In fact, since you can go up here, which is really cool, and again, we'll talk about a little bit more detail about like the individual areas, but because you can go in here and mess around with stuff, I really like the idea that you're basically allowing people to run directly in to like it's very distinct instantaneously. Like, oh, you're calling attention to the fact that this area exists, right? And they have those optimization things where you're not supposed to be able to see inside windows and stuff. I guess it's not active in that area, which is pretty good because it's like clearly a sniper's position. But I like the fact that as powerful as this position feels for the immediate vicinity, one of the things that instantly makes me think about is you can be had from so many farther range angles. So if there is a scout in play, or if there's an op, God forbid, in play, or one of those auto snipers, you're very vulnerable in that sort of scenario, and you can't cover all of your angles. So even though this feels like a super impactful and important position, the idea that for one, you're encouraged to fight over it in closer range quarters, and for another, it's like really only situationally useful if you have a high range weapon like an SMG or something to that effect. Yeah, I think there's a lot that there's a lot that goes into just this one area, this one piece of the puzzle, and the fact that it's surrounded by areas where you could, in theory, be counter-sniped is, I think, pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I also like that. Like two things I would like to mention here is that when you're up on top of the tower, it kind of feels like a powerful position because you have so much overview.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the developers also took some sense of security by removing the windowsills, so you don't have any cover at all.
Yes.
Except for this little pillar here.
And and if you play around that, you're vulnerable from behind as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. The second thing I would like to mention is that once you're exposed here and you want to leave this area, you need to cross a very open area in the the frozen lake, which is
Right.
just like there's no cover until you're at the next building, and then you need to work from there. So it's very isolated too.
Yeah, I
So
haven't.
I think it's
I haven't done
pretty
like
decently put design.
I haven't done that like any map analysis of the official DZ maps, but having played them for enough time, I feel like Sirocco has this bridge area where it's just you're so vulnerable, and the same is true for like there's a pipe area where it's so vulnerable, and you just walk in a straight line, and if you fall in the water, you're a sitting duck because you move slower and stuff. This is like a much better version of that kind of concept where, for one, it gives you an actual position of power to try to consolidate from and like fight your way out of. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, if you're holed up here and then you need to leave because of the danger zone spreading, or because your position is compromised by somebody pushing you or something, or somebody sniping at you, or just because you want to go and do something else, like then you do have to consider all the angles, like you're saying. It is a lot more open.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't really feel like there's a trade-off to be had in like Sirocco as an example, or even like Blackside is probably a bit more familiar with people who played it earlier because that was before Sirocco even came out, but. Blackside has the lighthouse area in the upper left-hand corner of the map, and part of that map, or part of that area, has that like really long rickety bridge, where admittedly you can fall down vertically to avoid damage and land in the water and stuff. So it's not as bad as the Sirocco cases, I think, but it's still one of those other examples of where like super open, but also not really a great position of power. Whereas this is like. It's not so far into a corner or into an edge of the map that it doesn't have any impact if you do take it. Like, there is definitely value to it. And then afterwards, it's like you have to accept the fact that you're going to be potentially a sitting duck trying to escape. But I really like the fact that the water in this map is actually ice and it's frozen over, so you don't have to worry about moving slower, because that's probably one of the most tilting aspects of DZ is if you're ever in one of the official maps and you end up going into water and then you just get shot because you're like slow and die. It feels like there was, especially in some of the areas of Sirocco, where it feels like there's no way to do anything other than go on the water or be really exposed on a bridge or something.
Yeah.
This map so far, at least in this one area, definitely has that map beat in that respect. So pretty cool. So yeah. And then
in addition to that, like in contrast to the light tower or lighthouse that you mentioned earlier, this tower doesn't really serve a lot of space for potential loot. I don't know if there is loot planned somewhere in here, but generally there are so few areas that you actually have to be already equipped to really utilize it.
Just guessing, I'm assuming there's one on this floor and then one down here, and maybe even one all the way at the top. But yeah, it's too bad there's not like a command to see those regions in a debug mode or something, because then that would help us for that, I think. But yeah, I think that's adds another bit of situational value to the red houses that are all over the place in this area, because it's like you should equip yourself. I mean, even if there's loot in that tower, it's not going to be sufficient to cover you from what do you call it? Like all angles, right?
Yeah.
So, for sure, you're gonna have you're not gonna have all your bases covered. There's gonna be some areas of the map that you're just not able to really utilize to the same degree unless you've looted enough stuff or anything like that. So yeah, even though we can't preview the loot positions, I still think that we can imagine, like, one of the things that it's a bit harder to break down in an objective sense, but I do feel like sort of I gave this sort of a ephemeral talk at some point when I was talking about like when you can tell a map has had elements of it considered, where it's like you can trace back part of the developer's design decisions. It doesn't feel like it was just haphazard and let's throw this at the wall and see if it sticks. It felt like it was calculated to some extent.
Yeah.
I get that vibe from this area where even though I don't know where the loot is placed exactly, I can infer that there's a lot of positions where loot feels natural to be placed. Whereas So like clearly it was a consideration in the design development process. In my, that's an inference that I can make, right? An assumption I can make based on what I'm seeing here. So yeah, I think just this one area alone is really nice. I'm not sure. I don't know who did what. Hopefully, if any of them end up showing up in the chat, they can lay claim to whatever they ended up doing. But because I know that this map was essentially had like some people worked on one area of the map and then it was added in afterwards. But hey, when do you think we're going to get synchronous map editing so that multiple people can work on the same file at the same time?
We have instances, so that's something.
Oh shit! I'm hearing the end of round music, even though we still have 50 minutes. Okay, I guess CSGO decided to play some music for us. That's pretty cool. Love that. So yeah, what's up, Balefall? A late hello, but hope you're doing well. I think at this point, the question is like, where would you want to move? If we were role-playing as Danger Zone players and we just cleared this area, I am certainly curious as to where we would go from here. So I guess we could go to the bottom left-hand corner, just to finish off this sort of
follow you.
Cover
yeah,
area.
One little piece of criticism I would put in this area is that not all, but most of the smaller buildings here, so this one is an exception now for my point, but most of these red buildings only have one entrance, or an entrance from only one side, I should say. So, for example, over here, you have a door and a window, but they're both facing the same direction, and you don't have any other place to escape when you try to loot that. So, kind of breaks player flow, since they need to backtrack from where they came from.
Yeah, and then in the middle of a gunfight, that's also going to potentially get them.
Trap them.
I'm not sure about the windows being so difficult to sneak through, but maybe it's a deliberate decision. I mean, I'm assuming it's a deliberate decision. I think maybe it's balanced out by the fact that it's essentially like bypassing the main door or whatever. But yeah, I would say for map flow's sake, it probably does make sense to add a couple of entrances to the areas that don't have the same kind of flow. Like if I go over to this one. Oh, this one has the windows at least, like that other building.
Mm.
This one seems to be... Wait, I don't know if that's the one that you were just talking about. No, you were talking about this one, right?
I think it's...
Oh, no, there's three of the same ones, I think. Oh, wait, no, that one has the window on the side. So this one and this one are basically the same. Oh, cannot ping. Ping is on cooldown. So yeah, T-Rexer's in the chat, and he says that the general layout was him, but art was split between people. That's pretty impressive that you managed to come up with a general layout for a Danger Zone map, basically. I won't necessarily say solo, because I'm sure there were some contributions by others, but still impressive stuff, I'll say that much. This is a big fucking map to be doing the general layout of. There's a jewelry shop over there in the town area. Yeah, one of the other problems that we faced when we were trying to set this map up, even just so that we could fly around in it and analyze it, was precisely that it was like... It just seemed so arduous to actually test the game mode. Just to even get into a position where you could. You don't even need to crouch, dude. Noob I am up. But, yeah, it was... I can't imagine the steps you guys had to take to get like playtests done for custom lobbies or whatever. Like it feels like Valve just sort of half-assedly implemented the system. The idea that like I've had so many crashes trying to load maps. Yeah, just didn't test much. It sounds like you pretty much have to. Like
there's a snowman.
Whaleman? Is that you? Oh shit!
Looks like Whaleman.
Wow. Let me cool you off, dude. Oh yeah, does grass burn in this? You're supposed to be able to burn it with Molotovs, but I don't know That's something that happens in the official maps. Gets rid of tall grass. Doesn't
Oh.
seem to be doing it here. I would say that the brown details on the grass don't really blend in very well, but I'm not sure if that's... It looks like the alpha masking is off. Maybe that's what I'm seeing more than the brown details. I'm not sure if that can be really...
I like that
can
it
be
puts a
tweaked.
little bit more color into the ground. Otherwise, it would be like completely white and blue.
Well, there is that, but I'm talking about like the texture that the 2D plane that the grass is.
Yeah.
Has like a lot of floating bits.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like it was
Alpha mask
masked
is a little bit
completely.
rough.
But that's in theory. If well, I actually don't know how grass is set up in CS, but I would hope that it's all referencing the same set of files, and if you change those files, it changes it across the entire map.
I think it does, yeah.
What's up, cat food? In the chat. Are there chickens in the map? Dude, I wish
Not
there were
found one.
chickens. Chickens with the Christmas sweaters, dude. That's what we need.
Chickens with keys.
Of course, the god of CSGO mapmaking himself, poLemin, can defy doors.
Yeah.
Chicken dinner. Oh yeah, unfortunately, we had it set up earlier so that in the top left-hand corner it just said, 1 winner. But unfortunately, that did not survive. We saw so many fucking weird bugs when we were trying to set this server up so that we could play and run around the map. There's so many issues. This stream started like a half hour to an hour late or something because we were just debugging. But yeah, at least we're here now, right? That's what matters. So one of the things that I like about the town area is that this is actually a criticism that I have of most games that try to be open world or have some sort of free-form gameplay, but a lot of the doors are not actually interactable or whatever, and a lot of like houses and stuff don't, like, they're just there for show basically. And one of the things that I really like about the CSGO mode in general is that all the rooms that you see are pretty much always something that you can interact with it. And I mean, obviously, it's sort of like this house or building or whatever right here can't be interacted with, at least not. Maybe you can like stand on the top of it or something. Yeah, it looks like you could probably do that. But you can't really do... You can't go into it, which is kind of a shame. But most buildings in most games are like this. And what I like about the Danger Zone game mode and what I like about this map specifically capitalizing on is the idea that the environment should be explorable inside and out. And that's something that I think really comes to life in this area, where it's not just a couple of those like red door or red houses that were by the clock tower. In this case, it's like it is a whole town, and you get to walk around in it and, you know, run around and see what's up and navigate your way around. Blackside has a couple of areas like that, close to I think it's the upper left hand, or no, upper right hand corner. I don't actually remember the direction, but it's the area where there's a dock and a large set of concrete buildings or apartment blocks or something. But even then, it's like some of those are not accessible. So maybe like half of them, or maybe a little bit more than half, are accessible, and it still feels like they're not going full, like whole hog with the idea. They're not really liberating themselves to create a whole town area. Whereas this feels a lot closer to that direction for me. And I would really like to see more mappers try to do stuff like this with their Danger Zone maps, because what I feel like is people aren't really used to the Danger Zone game mode, or they weren't for a while, right? And so the early maps that came out were like almost conservative in their design, and they didn't want to necessarily completely ignore all of the design tenets of traditional CSGO maps. You should still be cognizant of angles. You should still make sure that your map isn't like, there's not really like goofy abuse spots or too many entrances into an area that you're supposed to be playing somewhat defensively. But the benefit of the Danger Zone game mode is that basically everybody is a charger, right? Everybody's on the T side, so to speak. Everybody's rushing out and trying to get map control, and nobody's really defensive in Danger Zone. If they're playing defensively, most of the time that means that they're playing poorly, or they're just not experiencing the real what I feel to be the essence of the game mode. And so the idea of having so many different areas to almost encourage you to keep moving because you get to explore more areas. And also on top of that, to discourage people camping in the same position because you might be flanked from a bunch of different areas. There's a lot of different pathways to consider and stuff like that. It's probably the right way, so to speak, as loaded a term as that is. It's probably the right way to go about the development of a layout for Danger Zone, just because it allows you to do so much more, right? So.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think something that Frostbite especially did a really good job in is giving players movement options, like a bunch of movement options. And we talked about earlier that some of the buildings are like one ways,
Yeah.
where you like get stuck. What's the word? Dead ends.
Yes.
Dead ends where you need to backtrack back. But generally, like especially here in the town, movement flows very well, in my opinion. Like you have a lot of different options. I can jump on this and then jump in here, but I can also go around the building and use the stairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the area that I was referencing on Black Site, where there's a ton of different... I guess I... Oh, wait, no, I can. Epic. On Black Site with that apartment, like, concrete block area, there's a ton of different things that you can do by playing around with height, jumping up on top of stuff, going into the middle floor or the bottom floor, or all the way down onto the like ground floor of the whole map. There's so many different things that you can do just in that one area, and it really feels like this is pushing it in another direction, where we're adding more, I guess, horizontal space to it, because it's not just like a small tucked away area of the map like in Black Site. It feels like a much more proper area in that sense, and I'm definitely appreciative of the attention to detail and of the attempt to create this more free-form thing. Like, Danger Zone, especially when they added the respawns so that, like, you're not completely dead in the water the first time you die. Like, it's actually a lot of fun to run around this area and, like, just try to get kills and try to be aggressive in that sense, so. Oh, shit. Lord Simster with the smooch. The one smooch. I don't even know what that is, actually. I think that might be bits or something, but thank you. And thank you for the follow as well. And Hasselhoff says you can actually get away with a lot more in DZ than in regular maps. A lot more creative freedom to just do random shit. And you kind of just go, well, I hope this works. Yes. Well, I think it worked out really well. And because you have that creative freedom, it's really good, you know? There's a lot of benefit to deploying the system in a way that essentially, like, you have this layout in mind, you have the vague idea, you want to bring it to life. That's what like mapping in any game is really about. It's like, I have this idea and I think I can make it happen. I think it can work out. And then you try it and you see what needs to be changed or what needs to be modified. And maybe like what areas, what assumptions you made that need to be like reconsidered. But a lot of the times in Danger Zone, especially because there's so much freedom for the player and for the developer, if you can really lean into that, and I feel like Valve themselves might not have done so, maybe because they correctly, perhaps, assumed that players would be a little bit more on the, what do you call it, the
conservative side.
Yeah, they would be a little bit more stubborn, perhaps, right? We've seen how people have reacted to maps like Engage, and in the past, even like Canal's Valve's own map, where it's like, oh, this changes too much, or oh, this is like weird. I don't know exactly how to win this map immediately upon playing it. It must be the map that is at fault. So yeah, maybe they were worried a little bit about that, but I think people have seen that the players who are still playing Danger Zone now are into the creative freedom aspect. They're into the fact that they can jump around and do some unexpected plays. And something that I've personally seen just by playing retakes is the fact that you get more opportunities to do that clutch simulator style thing that we sometimes see in the Wingman mode as well, is that you just get this opportunity to like to show off if you're a positional player or if you want to do something unexpected. And if the map actually allows it, like I really like doing retakes on Nuke just because there's so many different things you can do there. And that's been definitely my favorite map to do retakes on that I've done so far. And that's because it's like, as a T, I can do crazy pushes. As a CT, I might like delay my approach instead of like going full run, just to see like, oh, do they suspect me from coming from this angle or something? Like, and Danger Zone basically allows you to do that all the time in every single area if you can lean into it properly with the map design. So I think that was a really solid set of work there. So I definitely appreciate it. And then we have a historic moment on the Semi-Pro channel because we just got our first sub from Twitch Prime, of course. Seth2 Quick, thank you very much, man. Welcome to the party. You're the first one. You're the first guest to arrive in the sub only club. So, congrats. You did it. You unlocked the feature. I don't actually know what you unlocked, but I think you get some emote or something. You don't have decades worth of meta when mapping for DZ. It's the same way for Wingman. There's a license to get away with a ton of stuff that would never work in CS otherwise. That's from the Whaleman. Absolutely. Also true. And I kind of touched on it already in my previous sort of rant/speech, but I do think that there's a lot to learn from considering all of these different points, all of the different things that you can do. Like, I'm not sure if this has already been talked about, but maybe there were some areas where you guys who were working on this map decided, let's make sure that the player can surf with bump mines or something, like crazy shit that Rush Lee, the Observer, does on Twitter. I see his crazy kills all the time. And like, that's a lot of fun. Like, that's a case where it's going viral, so to speak, within the community. And the idea of like facilitating that kind of gameplay, that's almost like becoming the new meta. When I play Danger Zone, I get that mobility package. I'm bump mining onto people, and they still haven't figured it out. And maybe when they figure out to look for that, whenever they hear the sound cue, they might start to be like, it might be less fun because maybe I'll have to actually play good instead of just being a weird gimmick jumper. But I have a lot of fun in that, and that's a case where it's like you're rewarded for thinking outside the box of what is traditional CS, and I think the rewards also extend over to developers in that sense. So there are definitely things on Frostbite that I would do differently now. Things are just oversights. Next one will be better. I'm glad to hear that the next one will be better. That's like always the most inspiring thing to hear from a mapper, who's like, my next map is gonna be better. What do you think, poLemin? Any words to say? Because Whaleman also referenced Wingman stuff, and I think that's something we talked about in our interview together, where like people don't conceptualize. At first, they didn't conceptualize Wingman as anything other than a cut down 5v5 map, whereas Guard shows us, I think, and some of the other maps as well, that if you build your map for the Wingman game mode in mind, you're gonna see a ton of value added to just doing that, right?
Definitely, I totally agree. Coming back to the point of giving the player options, I think that is something you touched on it with saying in Danger Zone people have a lot more chances to like prove themselves and show off what good of a player they are, and I think that player agency is super important Danger Zone compared to other game modes. So I totally agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I feel like the player agency angle is really cool because sort of like when we describe Wingman as clutch simulator, it's like you want to make sure that they can always have some impact with their decisions because the rounds are so small. Yep. In Danger Zone, it's the same idea, I think, but with a much bigger map size, obviously. It's like you want to make sure that the player can always do something with some tool that they have, basically. That at least if they've like played well, obviously, if they've conserved the right ammo or if they've bought the right thing, if they survived for the right, like they won the right gunfight or whatever. But yeah, I think there's a lot to consider there. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Town though. I think that it came out really well. I think the fact that like
it's my favorite part of the map.
When you consider also the idea that there's so many angles to potentially take for long range engagements, like that's one of the things that sets Danger Zone maps apart from any other map or any other kind of map, is that you don't just have the interactions at the short term. That's what it feels like in the early game because nobody has long-range weapons. But when you start to get the scouts out or the rifles or anything that can handle long-range stuff, you're going to see people leverage these areas in very different ways. At least I'm not sure if this area is even ever still around when the Danger Zone hits to the point where the danger is spreading and you can't actually go here. Maybe this gets locked off earlier on. I haven't played enough maps to know if that's 100% thing or if that's somewhat RNG. But just the idea of like, scout v scout engagements or something like that, or just mid-range engagements even, where you're taking like a fight from where I'm standing on the rocks to the middle point over there. Like stuff like that is really cool. So, what's up, Chechta? Is that the new Czech hero poLemin? That is. Oh, sorry. I have to pronounce it like 3 clicks Philip does, where I say poLemin. So yes, this
You can
is.
pronounce it any way you see fit.
I'll change it up every single time. So this is official Valve mapper poLemin. He's here with me today to talk about this map. 100% random? Okay. I figured that there was something like that, yeah. That's otherwise, why would you get the thing that predicts the danger zone spread if it's like something you can just learn? So I guess that makes sense. I don't know what this area is called, but it looks pretty interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the callouts or the general zones. I kind of like this little shack over here. This wooden cabin. It feels very homely, even though your main way out is to jump out through the window. Or
there's the what do you call that? Furnace.
Furnace, yeah. This is where the real warm up is. I think that there's a lot of. Whoa.
Yeah, you get stuck on these little bits.
Yeah, I'm you know, I'm made of gas. I can pass through these holes. Not sure if that's like a new. We are playing on the latest workshop version, not the official like currently in the game version. So it might have some stuff associated with it.
No, it has always been that way, but I don't mind it actually.
Oh, okay. By design, okay. Just seems a bit odd, but yeah, I guess if you wanted it to be like that, it would be really weird to have every single one have a hole in it or something. So, just looks very off when you're looking at it, but not sure how you would still have the feeling of a fence visually without that. Oh shit! It's Squid Ski. Love it. Skiing with Squid, dude. What if Funk Vehicle?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Dude,
like,
what if you could actually?
Cool if you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could turn it on.
Yeah, if you could turn it on and use it as a sniper spot, and then like have to bail out or something. Dude, that would be epic.
Go up the hill with your scout.
Yeah, dude. We tried a moving version. Isn't possible.
Isn't possible. Shit.
Why not? Dude, Valve. Funk Vehicle is a right. Give me my moving squid thing. What do you got?
Did you look at that? I don't know if you've seen that map before.
It looks familiar, but no, I don't recognize it.
Maybe chat knows.
Chat, what map is this? Just ignore the jankness of anything that moves. Oh, is it Calavera?
Yeah.
Cool. We still have yet to look at that map in our Wingman streams, but
Excited.
we'll be getting back to those tomorrow if everything holds well. So we'll see how far we go. But yeah, I assume then if any sort of moving object, is there any example of a moving object in current CS stuff? Like
the train in Overpass?
Yeah, but stuff that you can move on is what I mean. Like.
Nope.
You would have to build it out of the same stuff as that conveyor belt on, what's it called? Rift?
Yeah.
So you'd have to actually build it out of a platform or something, but then I don't know how you would be able to move it. And I mean, even then the conveyor belt stuff isn't moving, it's static, right? So it just like applies a speed modifier, I guess.
Is that Ravine?
Hold on. Yeah. I've played on that map too. I'm practicing for the engage update, guys. I have to break every window in the whole map. So, wait. Oh yeah, I did break that. So this is the ski resort. Hey, what's this? Is this a map? Oh, you're a CSGO mapper? Name every map.
That's not a CSGO map. You can see it from a mile away.
That's pretty cool that you guys had all those Easter eggs, though. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to look fabulous in these.
Ooh.
I like these red ones.
Yeah, this
Unbreakable
building
planks.
here I like very much. You have so many options of getting into the building, getting out of the building, and the windows are fairly comfortable to jump through in comparison to the others that we had in, what was it, the lake area.
I like how varied the angles are both inside the giant building, like the interior, and also the fact that it lends pretty well to like positions over here. This is an area where I'm not sure, this is like a danger zone specific game mode thing, but I kind of do wish that there were more rifles at some points. Like maybe it would feel really unbalanced, I feel like.
Yeah.
But maybe if there were some areas where you could fight over rifles at key locations. So similar to how you have the shotgun and SMG crates. If there was a rifle crate that didn't have to drop from the sky, like X amount of minutes in, would be really, really cool to see something like that, I feel like. But not sure. Because, like, this is an area where I would love to take, like, op duels or rifle duels from. Like, if I'm looking towards the Skiberg, Skeenstone, fucking whatever that is. Skippiston.
Chi piston.
That's a K.
Yeah, it's pronounced chi. Chi piston.
I almost no-scoped you, but I remembered you don't have God mode on. So. Pretty
Trust
sure
the
only
Austrian.
the American way of pronouncing words is correct, so sorry. But yeah, if I don't know, I'd love to like take a duel over here or something. Like I'm sure some CSGO players who mostly just play like don't play DZ, just play other stuff, right? Like they play Diffuse. They're probably like, what do you mean? Look at all these angles. That's a nightmare. But like in Danger Zone, that's just fun, dude. Like I'd love to take some op fights or I mean I guess scout fights or whatever. Maybe a scout instead of a rifle might be like could be a scout, could be a FAMAS, could be a Galil. Could be a Negev.
Cool too.
Negev Poggers? Dude, Negev on DZ. Let's see it. I'd take a Negev duel on this map.
Is there even one?
No, but I'm saying like that would be like your upper tier drops that don't have to be, they don't have to come like they basically they aren't rifles or auto snipers, right? Those come from the supply drops. Are you stuck?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were replicating the guard moment. Oh, you can get a Negev? Really? I've never seen it before.
Me neither.
Oh, apparently you can buy them. Cool.
Huh.
Oops. That's not where I wanted to be. It's rare? Okay. It's just another thing Valve left to random chance, I guess. I just like how the progression of this area is. Like, you go from the squid ski to the non-American pronunciation of whatever that is to... I mean, like, you essentially progress from town... Oh, I don't even think we looked over at this fireplace area.
Back.
But I actually like this, the look of this anyway. Oh yeah, dude, this is cool. So you get to come out on like this upper area back here, this picnic, I don't know what you would call it, but like the outdoor eating area.
Oh,
and
dear.
and then you can flank over to the... Well, we know where poLemin will be for the rest of the map analysis. But yeah, just the idea that you get to like sort of wrap around over here and you can then flow down into the...
Connects to roof.
Some air movement for you boys. I tried to surf again. But I like that there's so many different options anyway. And that also that it flows so nicely from like one area to the next area to this like upper raised house.
Very nice.
And then into this even more upper raised house.
I'm a little upset that you can't jump into this window.
Hey, you can boost into this one. You can probably self-boost, too.
Oh, you can.
Check me out, dude. I landed a
know
jump
that.
first try. I'm you. It would be funny if I failed every other jump ever. I want to be able to self-boost onto a roof, but it's probably not possible over here. Yeah, I think there's all sorts of
It is
cool...
from here.
All right, you know what? You probably no-clipped because I wasn't looking. What did you do? Oh, you can
Walk
go
up
up there?
here. Yeah.
Dude, epic. My horizons are being expanded.
Movement is a little bit janky up there.
I wonder if that was an intended gameplay. But it looks almost like all of the map border stuff over here.
Yeah.
Like I'm outside of the map right now, but if I, yeah, maybe having some sort of object up here. Maybe there's loot up here or something that makes it more obvious. But some sort of like sign of civilization up here, like a picnic table or I don't know. That's something that was further back, but probably could put some prop over here or something to imply that you can go up there. Can you access it from? Yeah, you can. It looks like you can access it from over here by the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's pretty neat. But yeah, like one of the things that I think this overall map does pretty well is with its construction, is that you get to. You're never like discouraged from moving around, really. But like you can be punished for being caught out, like in the clock tower area. But it's not like, with the exception of those small like dead end rooms or whatever, where the flow is kind of damaged, I guess, by the what do you call it? The one ways dead ends areas. For the most part, like it's really easy to always have some meaningful option that you can take to continue pressing W, basically.
I think they did a great job with that. Up here, I played a few matches on this map already, and I had a hostage spawn here on this awning.
That's
I don't
awesome.
know if they're placed randomly or if the developers.
No, I'm pretty sure you have to
deliberately put them there.
pre-select where they can be. Keep that, IMO.
But that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Came
Wait,
up
really?
to-
It is random? No way.
Oh no. So funny.
I mean, surely you have to, like, maybe it randomly selects from preset positions, but surely you have to actually tell the game, like, which positions to put it in. That's pretty incredible. Wait, can I... Epic. Oh, yeah, there's underground areas. I forgot about that. Dude, that adds a whole nother fucking layer to this. D.
No.
It's harmless. See? Oh, really? It spawns in one of the weapon spawn positions? Wow. That's
Oh my.
That's a Valve moment right there. This feels very similar to the black site area outside Lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
the treehouse as well.
Is there a treehouse? Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, maybe
that's
since
the
there's a
picnic
treehouse
house.
right next to that area in black site, that might be wise to at least visually spruce it up, if not also in gameplay, because it does feel a little aped.
Bruce.
Haha. Another furnace for warm up. But obviously the snow aesthetic makes it look pretty nice. Thought I was surfing for a second there. I don't even know where we are. It looks like we're close to this central tower area, so we can go there. Got lost, but in a good way.
I always get lost when I enter the underground areas on DC map.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I went into the underground. Normally, you don't even get a map in those areas because your tablet turns off. So we were jumping around here earlier when we were trying to debug the server stuff. Interesting.
You have to commit a lot of time to get up there.
Yeah, there must be some high valuable stuff that has a chance to spawn over here. I'm not sure if you would take damage jumping from the top of the railing to the spool.
Oh, you could also do this.
I assume you jumped up the... Well.
There's a ladder on the other side.
Oh. It seems like you should be able to jump up from there. Can't believe that hostages are randomly selected. That's
From weapon spawns.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Do it. Thanks. For embarrassing me on my own stream again.
No problem.
One of the things I always liked about the DZ stuff is that you always have the opportunity to, like, platform on weird stuff.
Yeah.
But why can't I jump into this vent? It doesn't even open. But... Oh, it would lead me into this interior room.
Room?
Yeah. That would be pretty cool, I think. Maybe you even want to make it two-way so that you can escape from this area in an interesting and innovating way. I like how there's so many different options for movement and stuff in this map, and we're just like, as soon as I see something that could be even more, I'm like, yeah, why don't you just add 7 additional entries to every area? And
yeah, the map is really fun to just move around, like jump from object to object. Gives you a lot of options to show off your KC skills.
Yeah, I really like it. The one issue I mean, again, we can't preview where the weapon spawns are and stuff, but I am wondering, this area must be like heavy in loot per square inch or whatever, because there's not, even though there's a lot of like Z to it, right? There's a lot of elevation. It also feels like there's not really. Oh, you can go up this ladder. It looks like. Oh no, you can't. It's blocked off. Come on, dude. Let me go up that whole ladder. Let me reach the top. This is the abyss that stares back at you if you look into it for too long. Weird. I guess it matches the other bars. But yeah, I think that there's potential for a lot of interesting movement on this area, but I'm not sure about the angles. It feels like this is an area where you definitely would have a ton of, like, it has a lot of cover consolidated into specific areas, like the interior, but then you have this area, this whole walkway where you basically have no cover from any position. But that's presumably that's by design, because maybe there's some really high value loot or something that can spawn in here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I would assume so.
I'm not sure how that was balanced from a thought process when they were designing an area. Like, I'm not sure if they decided to make certain areas more risky to take based on like, oh, here's what I want to do for this area. I want to make it riskier because of the loot or something. We couldn't have that area accessible for a number of reasons. I think the main one being the performance tank. It's a major tank. If you look at the entire map all at once. Oh, yeah. I like that even though this area is not really supposed to be accessible, if you do somehow get in here, you can climb on the ladder to get out. They really thought of everything.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Yeah, you can jump in there with exo boots.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh yeah, see? Real ones know.
Haslov is the hard worker, I see.
Tell him to take a break, yeah. I like how Seth Please Make Models is not even on here. It's not checked. Does anybody know how many of those Valve maps, or how many of the Valve props are like recycled from other maps for the Danger Zone stuff? Do they recycle a lot of stuff from?
For like Black Side, for
yeah,
example?
for Black Side or anything like that.
There's a lot of new content actually.
Yeah.
Sirocco obviously reused a bunch of Dust 2 stuff. But also has some, like the hero props are unique. Like the bridge or this weird spiral well down into the underground.
Okay. Yeah, I know which well you're talking about. It's the one that had a lot of broken things on release. That 3 Clicks Spell made a 89-minute video about it or something.
I'm too fat.
Pain.
This is Source Engine right there. Problem is our
Is it because it's at an
collision
angle on the ground?
Is a box? Yeah. No, because it's in an angle.
Wait,
to
you can't even jump through or crouch through? Wait, what the fuck?
If it was rotated by 45 degrees, we would have a better chance of getting through. Like if it would go like this.
There, I painted it. It's better now. Surely. Surely Source Engine can't do me like this. The real question is, when is everybody going to make every single piece of wood in a Danger Zone map destructible?
Source 2.
No. Just make your whole map that those materials that are holding the hostage up on Rift. All right, hold on. Where are we? Let me reorient myself here. Dude, you know this area would be banging if we had like a ski. What do they call those things? A jet ski? Snowmobile?
Snowmobile?
Yeah, yeah. Just a sled, dude. Just give me a sled. Funked vehicle all the way down. I would do that.
And while sliding down, you like dish out headshots.
Yeah, yeah, because you're fully accurate because you're not moving. The thing underneath you is.
Apex Legends moment.
Dude, come on. And if you hit one of these things, you just take 80 damage or something. It's great. It will work out. Trust me. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Wait, what? Trying to slide on
All these
this.
people have the same building, have the same painting.
It's popular. All right.
Crazy.
You guys have to add a Santa Claus patch so I can go down the chimney.
I think they actually talked about a night version of this map for Christmas. I've heard something along that lines.
Yeah, changing the lighting and adding some Christmas lights.
I don't know if it's actually happening.
I just want to be able to go down the chimney. I think that would be epic. You just end up right here, but... Oh, I guess it's not... The Christmas is not happening anymore.
No Christmas this year.
Wait, ladder brush? On this? Let's do it.
Like 1.6 style.
Exactly. Oh, Valve took too long to add it, I guess. Hey, somebody fell, dude. It was you.
God. I swear to God, these turrets are the bane of my existence. Map. Keep running into them at times where I don't want to. I'll bang it. Oh, it's down.
Yeah, he tried to peek me on land and I no-scoped him. Yeah, you guys were teasing on Twitter about this map being added for a long time. I can only imagine. It must have been in the works for a while.
Oh, I love this.
Just little balcony.
Being on roofs is like my favorite thing in Counter-Strike maps. I don't know why.
Remember what they took from you?
Yeah. Like when in 1.6 when you can boost out of the map and like onto the roofs. So cool.
Look, it's a danger zone observation tower. This is where Valve sits and conducts their data experiments. Nice touch. So I don't know where we are in the map right now, but if I trace back my steps here. So when you come down the ski slope on the red side, because it's color-coded, this will take you into the top right-hand corner of the map. Another little hut here you can open up. I imagine some people paying for one of these doors to open just so that they can get in and be safe. Like, fuck this, dude. Extortion racket. Something that I saw people talking about on Twitter was that the map doesn't have as much, like, areas to take cover between movement. Like, if you're moving, like, essentially between this house and this ski slope area. Or ski lift area.
Yeah.
And I can see where they're coming from there. I feel like it's difficult to come up with something that could work. Like, there's sort of a creative angle over here where they've done a bit of cover that you can hide behind because it's like a slope for when you're coming down on the ski thing. There's another one over there. So that feels like it's thematically consistent. I'm not really sure what you would do for anything else, though. Like, maybe you could have another one of those fallen ski lifts that it falls down, but, like, you place it just conveniently correct so that you can have a bunch of snow that's pulled up on it, and that creates, like, cover that you can hide behind. But even then, it's, like, that's kind of a stretch, and you can really only do that so many times before it becomes repetitive.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, actually, what would be...
There are a bunch of ways you could tackle that issue. Like, one of them would be some sort of little tunnel or like a drainage pipe or something like that that you can walk under this open area to bypass it. Other than that, you could have these snow-making machines that could sit on the sides where you can get some cover.
Oh, yeah, there you
go. These vehicles that they use to flatten the slopes.
I was even thinking as well,
I don't know
you could
what
do
they're called in English.
You could do some, like, fallen trees if you really wanted to get creative. Maybe you could have an area of the map. This might already exist. I don't know. But you could have an area of the map that maybe is like a rock slide happened or something. Blocked
avalanche.
Yeah, an avalanche or something like that. An avalanche would be very thematic, I guess.
Yeah.
Kefut says shoveled snow. Yeah, just... and also, while you're at it, just model in a new weapon. Make it so that you can pick the shovel up and bash people in the head with it.
Ooh, it's a hostage rescue. Sorry.
I like when I still remember going back into that
Oh,
map. What?
they
More
remodeled
beer?
this room. Yeah, and more beer. Is that ketchup? It's also beer.
I think it was a different kind of beer.
So in an earlier version, there was like a round bar around this central pillar, and now they put the bar into one half of the room. Definitely
Interesting.
makes it easier to navigate through.
Dude, how are you
I
not
like it.
dead? Oh, you got it.
Yes.
Round bar was very bad to play around, in your opinion? I missed the boat on that because I didn't get to this area before I died horrible deaths every single time I tried to play this map because I'm not very good at the game. But I do think the current version feels like it feels very natural to sit behind the bar to take cover from firefights out here out the windows. And you can play around the pillar as well to isolate like half of the windows. So I can play around this pillar and bar to make it difficult to hit me from the bar entrance and almost impossible to hit me from the windows. Maybe if the pillar was wider, I could completely block out the windows. But like, I pretty much, you have to peek me from very particular angles, and I can use this opportunity to hold here. And again, you don't, this is all conjecture, you're not really going to be holding in danger zone anyway, but you could theoretically play around the pillar, especially with like even closer range engagements where the guys are like actually in the bar with you, and now you can like very easily jump around. So I don't know, not having any knowledge of what the original version was like, this one does feel very natural. So in terms of the gunplay that you have access to, the only thing I would say is like maybe sort of the way that you guys have the snow over here could even have like footprints or something for like snowy footprints to. That would actually be a nice subtle way to encourage people to like take certain paths if they see like footprints, snowy footprints or whatever that went there. Obviously, in a perfect world, I think that would even be a gameplay mechanic where you would leave behind tracks for a brief amount of time wherever you walked into an area that didn't have snow. But that's obviously very different. But just something as like a decal for people to know. It's like right now it feels very pristine and new, probably because it was just added, just remodeled. So just a couple of decals to freshen up the, or to confirm the theme in this area would probably go well. And then maybe a couple of snowy tracks at the entrances as for bonus points, for encouraging people to immediately face the angles, right? So if you have like a curved set of tracks that are like this, going in that direction, and maybe another set that are going there, and then people will basically know where they need to be facing. Just an idea. It could probably be recycled for all sorts of different areas. But yeah, maybe the pillar ought to be slightly scaled up just so that we have more blocking of the windows. That's really my only other idea, though. And again, you're not going to be holding necessarily, but it's just one other thing to think about. I guess the concern with making it bigger on all sides is that this is already pretty tight. So if you made it even tighter, that area right there between the bar and the pillar is pretty tight. So you probably don't want to do that, but just thinking out loud here. One of the things that I've noticed about this map as we're walking around is it doesn't actually feel, again, this points to like the map flow. It doesn't feel like we're really being disallowed to move over here, even though this is like the map edge. I don't feel like I'm at the map edge, and I'm using a mini map which isn't even normally available. So it's going to be even more convincing for people who don't have the mini map, which are just using the tablet, which obviously has a bit of a different approach to it, displaying the info. So I wanted to like essentially just say that for the umpteenth time, that I feel like the map flow is really good because I don't feel like it doesn't feel like there's a natural method, or there's nothing encouraging me to go over here towards the map edge. It feels like a natural border, if you will, without even necessarily reminding me that this is sort of like the immersion breaking moment of remembering that you're playing in a video game in a map that has a border. It's like an abstract concept, but that hasn't actually happened. I've had to like remind myself, really. Nothing about the map has necessarily told me, oh yeah, this is the edge of the map and you're done exploring. You've got to turn around now. So yeah, really good job with the flow, I think. Especially around the map. Borders is really important to have that. when I'm making my own maps, I have to, obviously a different game, but when I'm making my own maps, I often try to make it so that it looks like the map could continue on, so that there's still an environment to, like, it's part of a greater, more well-connected and bigger world, basically, because you want to make it so that it doesn't feel like you are just in a battleground that is conveniently designed around a certain map size so that you can play, because again, you want to like maintain that immersion. But the RTS viewport is very different than the first-person viewport, so I think in this particular case, you guys did a really good job making sure that I never felt like I should have been able to go into positions. In fact, I would say the opposite. It's like, it feels like there's certain areas where I've been conditioned to think that I can't go to, that I can go to in this map. And that's why I said earlier when I was like surprised that you could go up on top of the rocks down by the squid ski area. I was like, wow, that's really, you know, I jokingly said my horizons are being expanded because that's a really cool thing to be able to do. But poLemin, you know the difficulty of trying to make a map that's a bit more of a self-contained area than a danger zone map usually is, where you're trying to make it so that it still feels like it's part of a larger world without actually encouraging you to necessarily go explore that larger world, because then when you try to, you get hit by that invisible wall. Like the doors on guard, for example, that lead out into that, I forget what the sign says. It's,
Vault.
Yeah, Vault. So...
Yeah.
So that's like an area where it's, or like the skybox, I guess, is another component of that. The, basically any of the details that are just visual flair instead of actually being super important to gameplay. Mm-hmm. Well, instead of being interactive, because I still think it's important to gameplay, but yeah, I think that, I'm sure you might have some thoughts on that idea anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what I think works so well in this map is that, as you said, nothing really encourages you to go beyond the level because it's just trees. Whereas if I may take may like open the can of worms with Ancient, the most interesting gameplay or the most interesting areas are in non-playable areas.
Yeah,
I feel like the cascades. And then they have a bunch of holes in walls where you can see some jungle beyond, which looks very interesting.
Yeah, pretty much any of that stuff. I mean, you already know my viewpoint on it, on the map. It's leaves a lot to be desired, I guess, is the best way to describe it. I'm trying to find quickly a chat background so that I can sort of I'm noticing that the chat is white, and white on white is pretty difficult to read. So I'll just resize this real quick. Production value.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, dude? What are you investigating over there?
I'm trying to create some contrast.
Oh, thanks.
Failing miserably, though.
We appreciate the effort. Now, the only problem is, well, I could probably frame it later or something, get something a little bit better, but at least now you guys can, if I look at the white ground or whatever, it's still visible, so. Ah! Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Every CSGO player says yes. I took 2 damage.
Can you pronounce that?
Were you?
I would love to see you try.
Of course, dude. It's Skigabit.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Wait, that's actually Skigabit?
No.
Oh.
Shigabit. It was close.
Yeah, I knew it was probably that she stuff, but I had to say it as stupidly as I could imagine, and I actually somehow managed to say it almost correctly. What is this language and why is it not English? Dude, that's what I say every time somebody with a slightly different voice to me says stuff. Why aren't you speaking English? I do wish you could surf on these. Maybe you can with your bump mining. Doesn't look like it, but I could be doing it wrong. Hey. Hey, what?
So one problem that I had with this area, oops, in my initial walkthrough and now again, is that it kind of feels like one of these buffer areas that we talked about earlier. Even though they have distinct architectural features here with the roofs that go very low.
Sorry. Continue.
So I'm kind of like lost at where I am in the map right now.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the roofs could be diversified with some sort of like the chimney stuff, but like you could decide to choose one of these buildings that looks very, very similar at face value and decide, all right, we're going to build like a balcony that leads into a window that leads into something, you know what I mean? Like do something more elaborate with the architecture of that. And then maybe one of them has a chimney or something.
Yeah, I feel like the buildings themselves work pretty well, but it lacks this one feature that identifies the center of the point of interest. For example,
Yes.
we have on the lake we have the tower. In the town, in the other town over there, we have the church.
Right.
Stuff like that, like something more unique. Because right now, even though they have very unique architecture, it still feels like filler content between areas.
I don't know why, but bump mines seem to not work very consistently on the roofs. But yes, I agree with what you're saying about the overall, like the fact that it, what feels like what's happening here. Oh, that's an interesting shadow. Stand over. Oh, it's because you're actually floating. Never mind. I thought that was a weird bug. But yeah, I think some defining feature like you're talking about would be cool. This is almost it because it's got a different color. It's very striking. The thing over there.
But it's also a prop that's used all over the map, actually.
Yeah, and it's too small to be instantly visible from all areas of this region. Yeah. So this area is probably one where you could do some more interesting work.
The interior feels really cool, though.
Oof. I almost made it in. Alright, I will cease my attempts. Just go in like a normal human being. And yeah, it makes sense that you guys decided to make every roof walkable instead of surfable. I just wish it was possible to convert a player's movement to be surf if they were going a certain speed. But I assume that's not actually a game mechanic in CSGO. I wonder if we look at... Oh yeah, I like this little attic area with the ladder.
Yeah.
It's a little barren, but it's I think it's a nice touch. You can jump onto the roof if you're not terrible.
Yep. Love it.
Is this,
yeah, I just feel like this area is lacking a landmark. That's all.
Yeah, this house being boarded up also is a bit weird. So it's only pathable from the perspective of somebody who's trying to like use it as a platform. It's not really you can't go in.
You can go into the attic.
Oh,
very dark.
Interesting. And I guess this must be the, I don't know, maybe there should be some boarded up exit so that it doesn't look so out of place because it's Seems like a weird attic to have only one entrance and it being up there.
Maybe.
Optimization, yeah. So this is an area where I'm totally ignorant of the... I just know that optimization is difficult in Source. I don't know much about, like, how you would do it as a developer. But I was talking to Catfood about something recently about how I was suggesting some change to the map, and he was like, I thought about doing that, but if I do that, then I won't. Then you'll be rendering like half of the map at once or something, and your FPS is going to take a real hit. And I like that's so sad to me that you're like essentially your layouts or the functionality of your map is theoretically hindered by the engine. Like that it pains me. I feel your guys' pain. Just wanted to say that because that's like people who don't know that much about map making in CSGO. Like I don't know a lot about the technical side of things. I'm learning more as I do more of these analyses. But I stuck it on your ass by accident. But yeah, it does feel like maybe Source 2 needs to come out sooner so that we can actually have a bit more. Because that feels bad. Like it just looking at all of the other things. Like I'm sure the church was probably something similar where, well, maybe it was something similar where you guys didn't want to open it up for optimization purposes. The church over in town, I mean. But
yeah,
like that's a feels bad right there.
These railings are nicely clipped.
Oh, you mean the fact
ones
that you
around the ones around the tower in the lake.
Yeah, they had different.
They're a little bit jumpy. Please. Yes. Yes.
I like how you're screaming yes because you managed to get into a toilet, but from my perspective, it looked like you were doing so because you escaped a turret.
Well, I did both.
True. Dude, the turret's hitbox must be really big, or I'm just epic because I've no-scoped every single one. Biggest way DZ is optimizes with its fog. But then also, like you mentioned with town, it's already a pretty high clustered area, so it makes optimization a little harder when you're also rendering this massive area next to town. Yeah. Well, it's not like you can just fog the church or something, right? So, yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the other issue, though, is that, like... And this also is going to sound very ignorant, so maybe people who have messed around with other engines might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like more modern technology than fucking Source could probably deal with open areas like town if the church was open. Because, to my understanding, Source still considers every map a series of boxes. Is that right?
Yes.
Like, it's just a series of rooms, basically?
Yeah, apart from that, it doesn't have a level of detail system.
Yeah, Spalethal was talking about that in the chat, so... So not only are you forced to render everything, but you also can't even render things at a different, like a lower level of quality to reduce the performance impact on your GPU. So, and maybe even the number of things being rendered probably affects CPU more than GPU. So, but even then, an LOD version would be less of an impact on the graphics. So,
Like stuck here weirdly.
yeah, I think it's the things that they use to board the windows up aren't clipped.
Oh.
That's my guess.
Oh, can we boost up here?
Ha, you mean, can I just jump up here? Because I have extra
okay, you can... This is from the... Oh, lantern.
Not physics enabled.
Oh no.
What happened?
That's nasty.
Yes, I love it.
Nice try.
Dude, those stairs are grenade proof. Better watch the fuck out.
Yeah, it's also
It's not even doing damage to you, right?
no. The collision extends throughout the entire stairwell or flight. Called flight, right?
Yeah, flight of stairs.
So if I would shoot you, you see the impacts, right?
Yeah. So that you're actually
blocks-
taking less
blocks
damage from
bullets as
bullets
well.
that go through it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. I guess so. If I recall correctly, that's a model by Valve.
The
And
stairs.
I guess they did it so you move up and down smoothly.
Yeah, you could just manually clip it. Well, I say just, but I'm sure it takes a long time.
Yeah. Especially if you have it in like multiple areas.
Well, the other concern too is that I think maybe grenades probably shouldn't be able to go through it, and maybe it should. I don't think it should reduce bullets. Like I think it should have individual collision bits, which obviously takes more time. But grenades probably. I mean, maybe they should be able to go through it, but that's like a lot of weird shit to deal with. Do you get flashed if I flash you?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, that's a big problem then. So yeah, that would need to be adjusted. So CR Tech is in there saying it's that DZ is held together with pixie dust or whatever, which is probably true. Honestly, some of the crazy fucking issues that I've seen mappers talk about, like I bring up this anecdote all the time, but on New Cache there was like a trim in Z that was dropping people's FPS to like 30. Like why would a trim do that? We don't know. I'm sure there are more details about it, like FMPwn could probably talk about it, but just the idea that it's like, oh yeah, just delete this trim and you're fine. Like why? What the fuck? What is going on? And on top of that, it's yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff, like the curl tree overflow or whatever it is from that Zool found, where objects basically there's not enough cleanup on, or not proper cleanup on a list of certain kinds of objects. So every time a round restarts, that list gets one item bigger for every object of this type. I forget what the object type is. Somebody probably knows what I'm talking about though. And it's basically eventually it'll just crash the game if it goes far enough. And this could, in theory, happen on like I mean, I'm assuming it happens on community servers that have maps with certain things, but
So
just an ever-expanding vortex of fuck. That is the source engine, I guess. That's one of the reasons why, like... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's one of the reasons why I'm mostly excited for whenever Source 2 hits for CS, because in theory there's going to be more modern support. Even if Valve doesn't like expressly support a lot of CS-related things, because Dota 2 is also built on it. Like, that's one area where we'll be able to benefit from a wealth of knowledge as a community that has already existed. So we're getting stuff that's like been tested by people who aren't just working within CS or within older Source games. And I think it only makes sense to get it done. But hopefully it happens within my lifetime. Yes, Balefall, it's a memory leak. You sending smoke signals over there? Quick water break here. So where are we going next? We're all the way back towards Lake. I guess we could go to the bottom middle. Because we haven't explored everything on this map yet, but I've gotten lost. We should find the other whiteboard in the underground area at some point. Saw somebody reference that earlier.
What kind of port?
Underground area. There's a whiteboard with like,
oh, another whiteboard.
Yeah.
There's the underground area there.
Epic. Oh, this is interesting. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. But I guess you also get stuck on the rocks, so you have to use the ladder. I feel like that could probably be changed, but... Oh, what's this? This is just another... Yeah, it looks like this is just another wraparound. This kind of reminds me of that underground area in Rolt's Wingman map that he made with Yakuza.
Paro?
Yeah. I was forgetting on that name. I'm not a crazy fan of the underground area. In this area, it feels very corridory and much less free form. I think maybe it worked out a little bit better in the other underground area that we were in because while it wasn't constructionally that different, it was also shorter to navigate through. This one feels a lot more confusing at face value. But once we're into this area, it feels a lot more open. There's more possibilities, so I actually... It's clearly something that is case-by-case basis. These look like elevator shafts. It would be really cool if you could like fast-track travel down or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe even have a ladder down there. It looks like you can jump into here, but once you're in here, you're kind of stuck. So that could be really cool, but maybe I don't know if that's another optimization thing. More paths doesn't equal more fun? Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Pretty sure more paths always equals more fun. Pretty sure as many paths as possible. The postmodern take on mapping is that everything should just be a giant sphere. No cover. The cover is the curvature of the earth. Complaint board.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah. I saw it earlier. I was just running around. Common crayon.
2 fog controllers. Jesus.
What is master flag? Stop making text infos. What moron and accidentally moved them? I like this. Compiler, stop crashing, please. I feel this. As a vaguely technical person, this very much feels very relatable. No, I've dealt with so many stupid things in like when I'm trying to build something and I get an obscure linker error because I've got to exclude and re-include a project in Visual Studio or something. Yeah. Like, that happened to me earlier today. It was pretty fucking insane. Compile time is at 12 hours, by the way. Whew. Yeah, Cafu was telling me about the compiler for Engage, and he said, or he was talking about it because he was compiling it earlier, and he was like, Source doesn't actually give us estimated time. It just tells us a progress bar. I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, surely that's not real, but apparently it is. One of the cool things about the underground area is how it straight up like takes you from one side of the map to the other. Like we were over by the south middle, and now we're in north middle.
One thing I like here in this particular area that you just left is this pillar lines up with the main tower, so you're kind of able to identify where you are in underground.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's a nice attention to detail to keep things visually consistent.
Yeah.
And remind players what's going on.
Yeah, it ties it together with the upper ground, so to say.
Yeah, I'm over here saying it was excellent attention to detail, really well thought out, and then Hasselhoff's like, that's a pure coincidence, by the way.
Don't say that.
You're supposed to say planned. That's what poLemin's reaction was when I got stuck on guard. So, learn from the best. What are text infos? Somebody give me a lowdown. Nice roof, dude.
I don't even know.
What's up, Tito Man? Compiling Counter-Strike Global Offensive maps. What is the 5950X higher or lower than my card? I don't actually know what that is. That sounds like a new AMD card, right? 16 core 12 threads. Yeah, it must be one of the newer cards then.
There's a little light map error.
What happened?
You need to recompile. There's a light map error for dark here.
I don't see it. What are you talking
Oh! I'm missing an asset.
Noob?
Interesting. There's a log on your side. There's nothing on my side.
Well, I just walk right through it, so...
I'll take a screenshot of that. For the boys.
The best new AMD, yeah. Yeah, I bought a new processor for like $300 as they released all of their new ones. Pretty sad moment. But I don't think my motherboard would have even supported the new one. Well, I had to buy a new motherboard anyway, so I guess that's not true. But whatever. Sad little paycheck. You guys get paid in playtime, don't you? Surely people are playing the shit out of this map. If they're not, they should be. I'm stuck. Oh, never mind. Wait, am I? Also, every time I do that jumping thing, Wait, come back here and jump. The grass flips up. Because it's trying to follow you and me, I think. That's pretty funny. Yeah, your real job, pole dancing, huh? Well, the real pole man over here. Yeah, I don't know how much of the financial stuff is even something that is allowed to be talked about, but I'm hoping that the more of these community maps get enough traction such that you guys can do this essentially full-time, or at least more than... Like, the dream is to quit all of everybody's day jobs so that they can just do this.
Struggle with source.
Oops, I accidentally said sorry. Sorry.
I'm also sorry.
The real dream is to become a skin creator? Dude.
I'm not sure about that.
Problem is, like, then you're just
Competition
making...
is so high.
You're just creating microtransactions, contributing to the demise of the industry. Soon it will all be over. This seems like it would really hurt to platform on. Oof. I should take 10 damage every time I land on one of those. Have we been into this area? Oh yeah, this is the hostage rescue zone area. Hey look, it's Picnic from Blackside, dude.
Yep. Home
cool.
sweet home.
I do like that there's a couple of callbacks that are like similar enough that people who have played other Danger Zone maps will be like, oh, I sort of recognize this. You don't want to like just copy and paste their shit, obviously, but if you can do enough of some sort of like tribute style thing, or even just like have a recognizable architecture, it adds a bit of continuity to the overall experience, which I'm sure Valve also appreciates because they seem to have this weird thing where they want their maps to be themed after realistic, consistent things. When really they should just add cute goats maps to the map pool. Want to see people duking it out on weird arcade Cyberpunk maps.
Sick.
When you see the paycheck, you are fine with it. Yeah. As long as I make enough money to live, that's fine, dude. I'm uncomfortable even having a Twitch channel that has ads now, because I feel like ads have ruined the internet, and now I'm in a very, very small, infinitesimally small way contributing. That's why I have that exclamation point ads command, which I'm sure might actually get me in trouble with Twitch, but whatever. Yeah, I saw the Mirage and Dust 2 Cyberpunk maps. By Cyberpunk, I didn't actually mean Cyberpunk 2077 specifically, but of course now every time anybody says anything about Cyberpunk, you're gonna have to specify, I don't mean the game, I mean the genre. That's like when Microsoft named the Xbox, the third Xbox console, Xbox One. Good job, guys. twitchls.com/semipronago, dude. I might just start linking that instead of the real one, but we'll see. Because I actually think it kills channels, like smaller channels, or well, really anybody. But like, if somebody's coming in to check out a channel while they still need to grow in the first place, like mine, to be successful, and then they get hit with a fucking ad, it's like, what's the likelihood that that person comes back or sticks around? Like the good nature of streaming, this is obviously a really big aside, but good nature, like the benefits of streaming are that you can immediately get a feel for what the player, or what the viewer is doing, or the streamer is doing rather. The viewer can instantly know what's going on. And now that's taken away because of the stupid ad war. So hopefully uBlock wins again with that soon. Is there an area we haven't been to? Maybe this.
But I think a bunch of the underground, but it's really hard to.
It's hard to know.
Effectively explore it.
Yeah. Yeah,
One
this
second,
is the ski area.
Need to disconnect.
Okay. This is the area that we were talking about. Doesn't really have a landmark. The X-Bone, of course. Yeah, it asks a lot from viewers to do that every single time they want to tune into a new streamer who happens to be partnered or affiliated. So I feel like we didn't really touch on this area very much, but I could be wrong. I like the red car. Very nice. Oh yeah, I think we ran around this area. Yeah, this is the area with the staircase. Never mind.
Quickly changing my video settings for the guys because I'm missing this log.
Oh, and you're going to see if it shows up on a different video setting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the highest. I don't know if you are.
No, I'm on medium.
Oh, okay.
Just change to high.
I'll go back and try to find the log. Yeah, I found it. I actually have not checked up on the progress for, if we go to yeah, the uBlock Origin subreddit. Apparently there's a specific ad block for Twitch now.
Prize.
Are you here?
I'm connecting.
Oh, okay.
So well.
You have left a shadow on the ground. You are a ghost, my man. poLemin, more like Ghostman.
I think my game crashes. Yep.
A classic.
Never has that happened as often as today.
Oh shit! Wait, no. Still happened, cat food. Sorry if you're still here. I tried your trick to remove the warm-up timer. Did not end well. Now I gotta find my log again. Hey, at least it respawned all of your favorite turrets. I should have looked where I was on the map, to be honest, but I don't know where it is now. Oh, here it is. Are you still crashing?
I just got back in.
Oh, okay.
Fly over to you.
I can't
No,
end the
I'm
warm-up
kidding.
because cat food gets disconnected. That's why we did the warm-up start in the first place.
Well, I'm getting disconnected right now.
Yes, I had to show cat food why he was wrong.
Oh, okay.
I had to punish you to punish him.
No, I just reconnected.
Yeah, I should have thought about that before I did that. It's pretty funny. I don't know why it happens. He sacrifices head. Can you show again? Yeah, hold on. I have to wait for him to reconnect and then I can.
All of that just because of that log. I shouldn't have said anything.
What was the ad for? Crows? No, I don't know what it was, but I hope so. Is this a recreation of an old map? No, this is a brand new map for the Danger Zone game mode, which is like a battle royale style thing. If you haven't been following the updates from a couple of years ago, what kind of files should you put on your crop top?
Ooh, I can see the log now.
All right, so it is actually a
T-Rex
map
is
error.
still here.
What?
T-Rex is still here.
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't chatted.
Find his chat window. Oh, there he is.
I'm in the casual mode, I think. That might have something to do with it. I really wanted to be able to preview the loot spawns, but if we do that, then we have the missiles killing us all the time, so... The real concern with the log thing is, like, if that's like that, the headache becomes what else is like that we just didn't notice. Discrepancies about.
Oh. How did you kill yourself?
I didn't have God on. Because I restarted the round. But I respawned, so it's fine. I'm excited to see what you guys all put together for, or whoever's going to be part of the next one. I'm excited to see what you guys do next.
The next massive Danger Zone project.
Of course.
Now with chickens.
Yes. We need to have snow chickens in this map. Lockout already in the works. Epic. Very epic. Yeah, overall, I think this map has a really nice flow from pretty much any starting point, which is obviously what you need to do for Danger Zone. Because you can spawn pretty much anywhere, so. And it definitely seems like it was a lovely learning experience for you guys.
All in their 20s, growing gray hair.
Wouldn't surprise me, dude. They've seen some shit, okay? They've compiled a map for 12 hours on the latest hardware.
That's rough.
Yeah, that really sucks. I just want Danger Zone esports, dude. Oh, I'm stuck on something. I think. No, I can't do it. But I noticed this lighting bug. I was trying to go back and look at that. Yeah. How's your project coming along, well, man? I saw you post a clip of your breakdown video, your like map breakdown video for whatever you're working on right now, a while back. Dude, this whole house is bangable. I wonder if the compile time would be attenuated with a new engine like Source 2. Like, I'm not sure how much of it is efficiency of the... the engine versus just the fact that the map is huge.
A little funny anecdote. There was a... What was it? A few years ago, like 1 or 2 years ago, someone discovered that the compile worked like 4 times or something like that. Like the compiled program
So it just
worked the same process 4 times. Yeah, exactly.
Why?
I don't know. And they discovered it, and then they like put out a community fix, and Valve was just like, oh yeah, I guess we take that. And then they implemented it.
Imagine Valve saying, yeah, well, I guess we just forgot about the 4 times compile time. No big deal.
That's pretty funny.
That's fucking insane.
I know, maybe in chat has someone in chat has some more information about that. I only vaguely remember it.
No, that's okay. I mean, Blizzard was on record in the middle of developing Diablo 2 where like they had no game design documentation for it, and they also had no proper tools, and they didn't want to make the proper tools, so they just sat with shit basically. And that feels like what happens with Valve a lot too. It's like, but it's weird with Valve because they basically only care about like pushing the envelope and changing, like, they don't have a commitment to quality as much as they have a commitment to pushing the envelope with tech. And like Half-Life 1 and 2 were both basically tech demos for their various engines. Like Danger Zone is very obviously like pushing Source to its limits. Alex is like VR, you know, tech demo in that respect. Like there's a lot more going on with them trying to... What would you say? Like, there's a way to describe it without sounding like you're just taking a shit on their accomplishments. Because they did definitely make some interesting improvements in terms of the engines. Like, they provided interesting tools, but that's essentially what their products were in service to, if that makes sense, as opposed to trying to, I don't know how I keep getting randomly stuck on one thing and then never being able to replicate it. But they weren't necessarily making the product to make the product as much as they were doing it so that they could show off the engine or whatever tech they have. Source isn't fully utilizing 32 threads. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I was speculating that maybe, depending on your hardware, obviously, other engines might actually handle compile time better. But if they don't use the threads, or if there's something else that makes it more complicated to compile in the first place, then it's not going to matter as much. Hey, these were the were these the railings you were talking about?
Yes, exactly. No, not this one. Here. No. Which one was it?
I do think it was in this area, but I don't remember.
Ah, here. This one.
Oh. I feel like I'm running up the B approach to
that one.
on Ancient. Just go up to go down.
Put it on the list, Rexer.
Somebody write that down on the whiteboard. Somebody put a crow face on the whiteboard, IMO. Yeah, most of them are fine, though.
Yeah.
Is there an easy way to see those things in the editor?
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they've been clipped?
You can also see it in the game, actually. R underscore show clip brushes? No. Draw clip brushes? Yes. Draw clip brushes 2. Then everything turns red.
Oh, I see. So the ones that don't have it are going to be fucked, basically. Fucking parting of the Red Sea, baby. Jason Moses O'Toole. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other, like, sort of final thoughts you have. If I had to wrap up my thoughts, I would say, aside from a few areas that don't feel like they have proper landmarks or things that really successfully set them apart from other areas of the map, I think the map is very well detailed and has a ton of options for players to make impactful decisions. And you also crucially feel like you can go anywhere on the map from any other place on the map. Like, it feels like the flow is natural, and I think it's a map that would be super easy for me to be able to plan out a route and also make alterations to that route as necessary based on enemies or loot that I find or whatever. So those are my like my words, basically.
Some of the areas a little bit too disconnected by the fact that we talked about earlier, the ski slopes separating them with this open area.
Yes, yeah. There's a bit of
that
cover
would be
that's
something
needed.
that could be improved, so you can quicker or more safely rotate between areas. And apart from that, I really like navigating through the map generally, not only on a macro level, but also like in the micro, in the buildings, the combat areas. I feel like I have a lot of potential to feel smart in combat.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
And that's a great thing for a map, for sure.
Well, I'm never going to feel smart mechanically, so I have to feel smart somehow, and this map allows me to do that, I think. So I'm a fan.
I'm walking on all of these railings to check.
We're taking extra care to be sure that everything is good to go. Oh. Oh. No, never mind. I thought there was a turret somewhere. Wanted to see you get shot.
They always get me.
Grenade out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things to like, especially once if there's another detail pass or anything like that to help separate some of the some of the areas out and maybe help connect some of the other areas together a bit more, like we were just talking about. Could definitely be improved in that respect, but it's a super solid foundation, and really happy with.
100%.
We're really excited to give a couple of rounds on this some more, and also really happy with the offering that it has been made. It's nice to see higher quality DZ maps coming out, and one of them being actually added to the game. And hats off to you guys for making it happen, despite the fact that it's a hell. It's so much hell just to even try to test this. So, as we found out. So,
True.
So yeah, cool stuff. I guess you need like a private server or something if you wanted to actually test this reliably. But we'll see what happens. Hey, I almost surfed. Definitely excited to see the next project as well. Good to hear that the blockout's already in development. But I don't really have anything else to say. I think really cool areas. I mean, I just now found this area that I didn't even look at before. That's pretty cool, and could be really interesting to play around. And the fact that we still haven't covered everything in about 2 hours of mucking around is very impressive. That there's so much variety, while it all still feels pretty much grounded, for the most part. So, yeah, not sure if you have any final thoughts or words, but that's my piece.
I already placed my final words.
Hell yeah!
I like it a lot.
Well, thank you very much, poLemin, for taking time out of your busy Valve-approved schedule to join me for this one.
Of course.
And thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks again to Seth for dropping the very first sub for the channel. Very, very much appreciated. And absolutely happy to contribute where I can. Hopefully some of my ideas were useful. And if not, there's always at least another person's opinion that you can take into account. So now you know. More people have seen it. More people have thought about it. And I will look forward to giving this a couple of runs through later on. Maybe on stream. We'll see. Who knows? But that'll do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow for another one of these map analysis streams where we take another look at those Wingman maps from the Discord contest, that Source Engine Discord contest that happened. So stay tuned for that. That'll be tomorrow around 12 p.m. noon my time, Eastern time. And there's a turret for poLemin. So check it out.
Or on the other side.